Hi dear students, I am your course instructor Napya Nehal, appointed as a guest faculty in ITM University Gwalior. Dear students, today I am preparing a video lecture for BSc Agriculture 3rd year 5th semester student. Course code is Biochem BT 311 Principles of Food Science and Nutrition. I am going to teach you Unit 2 Food Composition and Chemistry of Water and Carbohydrates. These are the outlines on which we are going to focus in this video lecture. So as the course suggested, it is a food science and nutrition. So let's discuss about firstly what is food. Food is the whatever we take to nourish our body for energy, for development, either it's a physically or a mentally development. Whatever we nourish our body is, doesn't means that the hygienic or unhygienic food whatever we take in our day-to-day life, all the food doesn't take the essential nutrients, or it is not going to nourish our body. So next is the what is the nutrition that is good for our body, good for our health, good for our mental health and physical health both. There are some nutrients that we have to consume to be a healthy, like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. Apart from this, there are around 40 nutrients that we are going to take in our food. So now let's start with the water and their different forms. As we all know that water is very essential for our body. For an adult human being, in a male, around 3.5 to 4 liter water has to intake or uptake daily, and for female, around 2.5 to 3 liter waters has to take day to day life daily. Right? So it has been already reported that around 60% body weight of human beings are or are totally water. So let's start with the water. What is water? Water are, as we all know, that the molecular formula of water is H2O. H2O means two hydrogen molecules are bounded with the one molecule of water with the help of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond of water molecules are relatively weak bond. Weak bond means they will break easily or break easily and combine with some other compound or molecules to form something else. So what is the boiling point of water? Boiling point of water is 100 degrees C. That is, in Fahrenheit it is 212 degree Fahrenheit. There are three different forms of water that is present in our food. First one is the free form. Whatever we take that are freely move in our body. Absorbed. What our cells absorbed. That are the absorbed form of water. Bound form of water means water molecules are bounded with something else and we take that thing like bounded may just like a juice. Okay, in next slide, role of water in food. There are important role of water in food, like it will directly affect the texture of food, it will affect the shelf life of food. Now what is the shelf life? Means shelf life means as long as we can store that particular food, like a dried food or a pasta like food that contains less moisture percentage, we can store it as longer as in compared to the fresh meat, bread, and whatever we cook in our daily kitchen, right? And apart from that, water is supportive for the growth of microorganisms. As we see, if we put a piece of bread dipped in water and we leave it for a day outside, we will see that there are some slimmery slime like fungus or bacteria will grow on the surface of the bread. Water will helps in the movement of large molecules like proteins and polysaccharides. Whatever we take in our food, water helps them to move inside our body, and it will, with the help of water, these large molecules will move to our cells. Next, the very important topic is carbohydrate. What is carbohydrate? Carbo means carbon. Hydrates means the water molecules. Okay, hydrate means the molecules like H2O. So on the basis of their name, their general molecular formula are presented here as CnH2ON, or we can say it, if we break the bracket of H2O, then it will also called as the written as the CnH2nON. Carbohydrate are the main energy source for our body, and if we compare the ratio of carbohydrates in plants and animals, then plants are rich in carbohydrates than animals. There around 30% of carbohydrates are present in plant, and around 1% of carbohydrates are present in animal. There are some good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates. What are good carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are those that helps to nourish our body, like rice, fruits, vegetables, oats. And what are the bad carbohydrates? Are the junk foods? All the junk foods are the bad carbohydrates that are not just going to nourish our body, that are just for our requirement or desire, something type like pizza, burger, chips, cold drinks. These are very bad carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are classified into two groups. First one is the simple carbohydrates, and the second one is the complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are the monosaccharides, and complex carbohydrates are disaccharides and polysaccharides. Polysaccharides and oligosaccharides also. Polysaccharides are also bifurcated into the homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Now come on to the point. First one is the monosaccharides. Mono means one or single, and saccharides means sugar or sweetness. So what is sugar? Sugar are soluble in water. They are sweet as well as they are hygroscopic in nature. Hygroscopic means that absorbs water from the atmosphere. Like as we all see that if we openly leave sugar, then after 1 month or 2 months, it will be slightly liquidy form, not totally liquidy, but there are some water molecules around the crystal of sugar. Monosaccharides are distinguished on the basis of, basically they are distinguished in two types. First one is on the basis of functional groups. Functional groups, ketone and aldehyde groups. And second one is on the basis of number of carbon atoms. Usually, carbon number are ranges in between 3 to 7. There are some examples of monosaccharides: glucose, galactose, fructose, and ribose. Out of these four examples, ribose are the 5 carbon atoms molecule. Glucose, galactose, and fructose are 6 carbon atom molecules. In normally human beings, there are 6 carbon atom molecules are present that we can digest. Okay, and in plant, up to 7 carbon atom molecules they can consume. They can degrade or they can use it as for their nutrition. Next is the disaccharides. Di means two. Saccharides, as I have already taught you, that saccharides means sugar or sweetness. What happened in the disaccharides? As the name suggested, two sugar. It means two sugar molecules. Here the figure shows that two sugar molecules are connected with each other with the help of glycosidic linkage. There are two types of disaccharides. First one is the reducing sugar. Reducing sugar, these two are the examples of that. Lactose, as we all know that lactose is the milk sugar, and second one is the maltose. Next is the non-reducing sugar. Non-reducing sugar example is sucrose. Sucrose or saccharose. Sucrose are composed of glucose and fructose. One molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. Sucrose is also known as brown or white sugar. White sugar is the purified form of the sugar that we consume. Some sources of sucrose are chewing gums, desserts, fruits, jams, and syrups. Syrups like the medicinal syrups are the sweetness of the cough syrup or the medicinal syrups are just because of they contain some percentage of sucrose. Sucrose can be extracted from the, as we all know that sugar what we take in our daily life, they are extracted from the sugar cane or sugar beet, date palm or sweet sorghum. Sucrose are white crystalline substances with sweet taste. Next is the oligosaccharides. Oligo means few and saccharides means sugar or sweetness. Oligosaccharides are composed of 3 to 9 molecules of monosaccharides. In the same way, disaccharides, they are linked together with the help of glycosidic bond. 3 to 9 monosaccharides means different monosaccharides like galactose, glucose, fructose. These three molecules are linked together with each other and make a raffinose, which is an example of oligosaccharides. So there are some examples like rhamnose, raffinose, and stackrose. Oligosaccharides are basically indigestible or non-digestible. We cannot digest means our small intestine cannot digest the oligosaccharides because of lack of that particular enzyme that helps to break the oligosaccharides. So if we consume oligosaccharides, they reach to the large intestine where bacteria break them down and absorb the essential nutrients that provide energy. Oligosaccharides helps to prevent humans from constipation. Large amount of oligosaccharide ingestion can result in excessive gas and abdominal bloating. Next is the polysaccharides. Poly means more than two. When a long chain of monosaccharide units linked by glycosidic bond. Here we can see that starch. Starch is an example of homopolysaccharides. Polysaccharides are of two types, homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides means homo means same, and it means that the same sugar units are linked together. Hetero means different. Different sugar units are linked together with the help of glycosidic bond and form a heteropolysaccharides. Starch, glycogen, cellulose, chitin, dextran, and many more are the example of homopolysaccharides. Agar, agarose, heparin, and some other like keratin sulfate, dermatan sulfate. These are the heteropolysaccharides. Basically, what is the role of heteropolysaccharides in our body? We cannot consume it. It is also indigestible. It is already present in our body. Like as I uh, told here that the dermatan sulfate. Dermatan sulfate, as the term said, dermatan. Dermatan means skin, right? So these kind of polysaccharides are helps to nourish our skin or present good for our blood vessels. These are some functions of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are very broad nutrients. So if we are going to elaborate it with their examples, so there I am going to explain some important functions of carbohydrates. Like if we start with the glucose. Glucose is the energy source for brain for RBC. If some in generally if we see that in a accidental case or if in a excessive loss of water, doctor will suggest to take a glucose. Why? Because it is a energy source. Glucose is also named as the dextrose or grape sugar. We can also call this as the grape sugar. Next is fructose. Fructose is the sweetest and most soluble sugar. Among all of these sugar, fructose are the sweetest one. It it is also called as the fruit sugar. Fructose participates in metabolism activity, whatever happen in our body, like in glycolysis cycle it is a metabolism activity. Fructose enhances the absorption of water, sodium and potassium. Honey, fruits, fruit juice, sweetness of soft drinks are the sources of fructose, and the sweetness of medicinal or multivitamin syrups. Next is sucrose. Sucrose is cane or table sugar naturally present in honey, molasses, fruits, and vegetables. It is used as an artificial sweeteners. Like if we check the composition of sugar-free tablets, then there are some percentage of sucrose are present in it in that capsule. Generally, sugar beets are in temperate regions. Sugar beets are more than in compared to the sugar cane. So in the temperate region, sugar are extracted or manufactured by using sugar beets, and in the tropic region, sugar cane helps to manufacture the sugar. If we talk about the stability of glucose and sucrose, which one is more stable? Then sucrose is more stable than the glucose. Next is starch. What is starch? Starch is the storage carbohydrate in plants. It is found in the cereals and legumes, roots and tubers. Doctor has suggested the diabetic patient that do not consume starch because it will increase the blood sugar level, which is not good for the diabetic patient. So cereals, legumes, roots and tubers, potatoes are the best example that contain maximum percentage of starch. The water solution, if we cook rice with the pouring excess amount of water, the water solution will contain starch of the rice. Next is the glycogen. Glycogen is the storage carbohydrate in animals. In our body, carbohydrates are stored in the form of glycogen. At the time of necessity, when we feel weakness, the deposited glycogen will break down into in the form of glucose and helps in the metabolism. Cellulose. Cellulose is generally present in the structural parts of plant cell walls. They are insoluble. Actually, it is indigestible, same as the oligosaccharides. Means that our small intestine, human body, does not have enzymes that break down the cellulose. So it is comes under the category of indigestible. Cellulose are present in commonly found in the fruits, oats, barley, and beans. So these are some basic functions of carbohydrates, and these are a very small exercise that I hope you will do. First one is the describe carbohydrates with their chemical structure, and second exercise is the role of carbohydrate and water in food. Basic role. These are the learning outcomes. Students will definitely understand the basic role of nutrients such as the water, carbohydrates in human diets. And these are the references from where I have taken the pictures and some data. Thank you.